What's going on, YouTube? Thomas L here. With Mary Poppins Returns out now, since it returns, the babysitter known as Mary Poppins back on screen. I decided to do a top 10 list of my 10 favorite babysitters because there have been some pretty interesting babysitting based movies, like where a character is assigned to babysit a child or whatever. So, with that being said, here's my 10 favorite babysitting movies. Coming in at number 10 is a Netflix film, and it's called, The Babysitter. This movie is crazy. I mean, in it stars this actress named Samara Weaving, and it's also directed by McGee, who's best known for doing stuff like Charlie's Angels, Terminator Salvation. And in it, it also stars this actor named Judah Lewis, who stays up like past his bedtime, and he discovers that his hot babysitter played by Weaving belongs to a cult that will stop at nothing to keep him quiet. I mean, this movie is nuts. I mean, in this you got Weaving and Lewis. I thought was really good. You also got King Bach in this. Let's see, Bella Dawn was in this film as well. It's really funny, and it's a really interesting horror comedy worth checking out. If you guys have not seen The Babysitter, it's still on Netflix. Give it a go. It's really interesting, and it's also pretty violent too. So if you're into like a gory, horror films, this is definitely one to check out. Coming in at number 9 is another horror film called Better Watch Out. Now, this film took place, on Christmas, and Better Watch Out is really crazy. I mean, I don't want to talk much about it because this movie is easy to spoil. But if you see the trailer, it makes it look like it's something totally different than when. But when you go into seeing the movie, it's something completely different from the trailer. I mean, in it, it stars this actor named the dude played Pierre Penn in the movie Pan. Wait, let me. Is that his name again? Oh yeah, the kid's name is Levi Miller. Why did I freeze up on his name? Anyway, this movie is crazy. It stars this Australian actress named Olivia De Jong, who travels to like a home to babysit a 12-year-old played by Miller as well, and she also technically is babysitting his friend played by Ed Oxbow, and she must defend herself and the young boy from unwelcome intruders, but the intruder is something you would not expect. Not many people have seen this movie, so I'm not going to go into spoiler territories here, but it had a twist that I literally didn't even see coming. I mean, this movie was loads of fun. I saw it in theaters back in October of last year, and I ate it up. I thought it was really awesome. Olivia De Jong, I thought she was really good. Levi Miller as the lead was cool too. You also got Zachary Montgomery from who's the Red Ranger at Power Rangers, and he was just on Stranger Things season 2. Patrick Warburton is in this. Virginia Madsen. This is a crazy Christmas horror movie, and if you guys still never seen it, I highly recommend it. It's really fun. All right. Coming in at number 8 will be the film Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter is Dead. Now, this movie got released in 1991 and starred Christina Applegate as a teenager who's awaiting her mother's summer-long absence, and there's like a babysitter who looks after her after the siblings, and And pretty much, the sitter dies in a weird way, and they gotta try to find a way to cover up the murder. It's really it's more of a guilty pleasure. It's not a great movie by any means, but it's actually really funny. Of course, had Christina Applegate at the height of her career because she was on Married with Children around the time this movie got released. This movie had like an adventure babysitting vibe to it. I mean, to be honest, I haven't seen the movie for a while, but I remember really digging it when I first saw it. I mean, come on, a movie where a babysitter dies and the kids have to cover up, and it's really hysterical. I mean, I don't even think this movie could get made today, to be honest with you. But if you guys never seen it, give it a go. I mean, I gotta say it's slightly underrated. I don't really hear many people ever talking about this, but it got released in 1991, and it's a really fun 90s film. Coming in at number 7 is the Eddie Murphy film Daddy Daycare. Now, daycares are technically babysitters, because in this, Eddie Murphy, Chef Garland, runs like a daycare, to look after kids while their parents are away and or working and all that. I mean, some people argue that a daycare is not a babysitter, but let's be for real. Daycares, are paid to watch kids and all. They're babysitters. And I gotta say, I love Daddy Daycare. This movie is real. I've always found this movie to be cute. It was definitely a really charming comedy. Eddie Murphy was funny. And of course, they did a sequel with Cuba Gooding Jr. We don't talk about that. The first film is where it's at. It's a hysterical one. And I mean, you also had Steve Zahn in this. I love Steve Zahn. He was really awesome. I mean, he played like a Star Trek nerd in this. Yeah, and also Elle Fanning is in this movie too. That's also pretty cool. Now Elle Fanning's like a bigger actress than she was when this movie got released. But overall, this movie is a really funny gem. I mean, if you've never seen Daddy Daycare by now, check it out. And also, this has Regina King, who will probably end up being an Oscar winner sooner. But yeah, I simply love Daddy Daycare. The sequel, not so much. Coming in at number 6 will be The Pacifier. Now, lots of people don't really like this movie, but it's one of my guilty pleasures. I love The Pacifier. You got Vin Diesel. It was pretty cool seeing Vin Diesel lead a family film like The Pacifier, because this was around the same time where Vin Diesel was in the Fast and Furious movies, and so this time around, Vin Diesel is playing like a Marine who is assigned to babysit some kid, like these kids. I mean, I always like the chemistry between Vin Diesel and the kids here. You got Brittany Snow from Pitch Perfect fame. Max Tarot, who was in Bates Motels, is in this. You even had a great role by Brad Garrett. Who else was in that? Oh yeah, Lauren Graham was in this movie. I mean, I know lots of people don't like this film at all. I simply love it. I mean, it's far better than The Rock's Tooth Fairy, that's for sure. But to me, it's really funny. If they ever announce that they're going to go ahead and do a sequel to The Pacifier, I'll be down to see another one. It'll be cool seeing Vin Diesel, back as his character again with, the kids all grown up, or maybe Vin Diesel's character could look after a different family. That could work too, but yeah, I just love The Pacifier. Coming in at number 4 will be The Sitter. Now, this movie starred Jonah Hill as like a college dropout who's now living with his mother. So to make some quick money, he is hired to babysit these 3 kids, and his girlfriend wants him to pick up some some drugs. I'll put it the easy way. And so they have a wild trip in New York City, and to me it's really funny. Now, I love Jonah Hill in this. The one who plays the three kids, the one who stole the scene was the little girl. I think the actress name is Landry Banner, who's also on Fuller House. She was a scene stealer in this movie. And the one who played like the young Spanish kid, he also stole some scenes. I mean, the kids in this were awesome. And besides them, you also had the great Sam Rockwell, J.B. Smoove, Ari Graynor, Samara Weaving, who's now on The Handmaid's Tale. I really love this movie, and it's also directed by David Gordon Green, who recently put out the new Halloween movie. So it was pretty funny seeing him go from one babysitting based movie to another. And too bad they never went ahead and did a sequel to this, because The Sitter is really funny. If they were to announce that Jonah Hill will come back to do a sequel, I'll be down to see another one, because this movie is a hysterical film. Coming in at number 4 is Halloween, the original. I'm actually going to go with the original, even though I love the new one. But the new one recently just had only one babysitting scene, so it can't really. It just had that one babysitting scene. There's like the babysitting scene in that movie didn't play like a part in the remakes in the new Halloween, so that's kind of why that's the new Halloween is on my list. But I'm going with the original. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis looking after Tommy Doyle. Come on, the chemistry between both Jamie Lee Curtis and the actor who played Tommy Doyle was really good. I mean, I always liked that scene with them. And also, there's another baby scene where Laurie's friend is looking after Lindsay Wallace. So this is pretty much a babysitting movie. And I just love the original Halloween. The John Carpenter theme is just iconic. Of course, the babysitting scene, the babysitting scene happens like towards the end, but it's still some iconic moments in this. And too bad in the new Halloween, too bad they didn't bring the character of Tommy Doyle back, whether it be played by Paul Rudd or the original actor. Would have been cool seeing Tommy Doyle back on screen, as well as the one who plays Lindsay Wallace. All right, coming in at number 3 is the classic Uncle Buck, the John Candy classic. I love Uncle Buck. This movie is really hysterical. You had the kids in this are played by Macaulay Culkin, like a year before he did Home Alone, by the way. You also have Gabby Hoffman. She played one of the kids in this. And it was also directed by the great John Hughes, who's actually one of my favorite filmmakers. I love John Hughes movies. One of these days I gotta do a top 10 John Hughes films, because he's done a lot of stuff, but Uncle Buck's definitely one of them. And this is a John Candy classic. Man, I miss John Candy. I remember watching lots of John Candy movies as a child. Whether you talk about Uncle Buck, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a classic. John Candy was the man. And if you guys still never had a chance to check out Uncle Buck, give it a go. And I'll always love the chemistry between John Candy and the kids in this. It's a really hysterical film. Coming in at number 2 is Adventures in Babysitting, the one that starred a young Elizabeth Shue in it. Of course, there was like a Disney Channel remake, which had Sophia Carson and Sabrina Carpenter. That wasn't all half bad, but the original is where it's at. I mean, in it, Elizabeth Shue plays like a high school senior who ends up babysitting some kids, played by Keith Coogan and Maya Bruton. And what should be like a quiet night in, however, turns into a series of ridiculous exploits. Starting when they leave the house to pick up, the boyfriend's to play, where they end up picking up, Elizabeth Shue's character's best friend, played by Fennell B. Miller, and and there's like much mesh mash that happens in this film. I'm playing. Adventures of Babysitting is a babysitting classic. It's really hysterical. It's funny. I mean, it's a really good adventure family film worth checking out. I just love this movie. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen it, but it still holds up as a classic babysitting film. And you know what? That movie, The Sitter, kind of was influenced by Adventures of Babysitting. You could literally tell that was an influence of this film. All right, coming in at number one is the '90s classic, and that is Mrs. Doubtfire. Where Robert Williams decides to dress up as a woman to look after her kids. That Robert Williams as Mrs. Doubtfire is iconic. It's a '90s classic. The one that plays like his young daughter. The actress name is Amara Wilson. She was on. She played Matilda. I really dug the chemistry between him and the kids in this. You had Sally Field, Pierce Brosnan, Harvey Feinstein. I love Mrs. Doubtfire. It's really funny. It has some funny moments in this. And too bad I still miss Robert Williams. He was a legend and gone way too soon. And if out of every Robert Williams movies, Mrs. Doubtfire is one I kind of hope they don't touch. Because who could? I mean, replacing Robert Williams as the genie in Aladdin is one thing, but getting an actor to play Mrs. Doubtfire, that's another. I mean, I don't know if another actor could possibly be Mrs. Doubtfire, but I'm just hoping though. This is actually one remake I'm hoping they never touch because it's an iconic one. And if you guys never had a chance to check out Mrs. Doubtfire, I highly recommend it. I think you'll probably like it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my 10 favorite babysitting movies. Let me do the quick rundown. Number 10, The Babysitter. 9, Better Watch Out. 8, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter is Dead. 7, Daddy Daycare. 6, The Pacifier. 5, The Sitter. 4, Halloween. 3, Uncle Buck. 2, Adventures of Babysitting. And 1, Mrs. Doubtfire. Now, there's a few other ones I could have added. Let's see. There's a movie called Emile with Sarah Bogart. That's actually pretty good. There's, let's see, When the Stranger Calls, the original remake. Fun Size with Victoria Justice, pretty good. The Babysitter's Club. Let's see, Spy Next Door. Guess you could count The Hangover as a babysitting film because they're pretty much babysitting that kid. Same goes with Dream Man and Baby. I guess you could technically count that as the babysitting film. Except they're not hired by anyone to look after them. There's a film called The Babysitter with Alicia Silverstone. That's pretty decent. Of course, the original Mary Poppins. That's a classic. Nanny McPhee with Emma Thompson is really good. There's been a lot of interesting babysitting-based movies over the years. Let me leave it to you guys. What are some of your favorite babysitting movies? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is Thomas L. signing off.